day for the most significant law to be passed since then, for the last 30 years.
Might end up being a message amendment because the President of the United States will almost assuredly veto it.
Conventional wisdom was we would never get any Republicans to support gun legislation, period.
And within less than 15 minutes, you can walk out the front door here with a rifle or a shotgun.
Landmark 6-3 Supreme Court decision, reshaping gun laws for generations. Second Amendment debate takes center stage in a verdict with far-reaching consequences. Duncan versus Bonta. In the realm of constitutional law, few issues ignite as fervent a debate as the delicate balance between gun rights and regulations. Duncan versus Bonta, a pivotal legal case that bears the names of the lead plaintiff, James Duncan, and Xavier Becerra, the then Attorney General of California, succeeded by Bonta, stands at the epicenter of this complex discourse. At its core, the case revolves around California's stringent limitations on the possession and acquisition of high-capacity mags, those capable of containing more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Enshrined in the state's Penal Code Section 32310, these restrictions have become a touchstone for the broader constitutional conversation surrounding the Second Amendment. The legal odyssey began in 2017, when Judge Roger T. Benitez of the United States District Court for the Southern District of California delivered a groundbreaking ruling. He deemed California's ban on high-capacity mags unconstitutional, asserting that it infringed upon the Second Amendment rights of citizens. His ruling bore a monumental consequence, an injunction that barred the enforcement of the mag ban. This heralded what came to be known as Freedom Week, an interval during which Californians could legally acquire large-capacity mags without fear of retribution. However, the legal battle did not halt with Judge Benitez's injunction. The state of California contested his decision, appealing to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. In a pivotal twist, the Ninth Circuit panel in August 2020 delivered a divided verdict. Two of the three judges upheld the ban, signaling the complexities and divergent interpretations inherent in Second Amendment disputes. The case ricocheted back to Judge Benitez, tasked with a reevaluation in light of a prior Ninth Circuit decision termed Duncan versus Becerra. The legal labyrinth deepened as Judge Benitez faced the challenge of reconciling precedent and constitutional interpretation. In the unfolding legal saga, the recent Supreme Court decision emerged as a watershed moment. The 6-3 split verdict reverberates well beyond the confines of California. The division among justices epitomizes the larger societal chasm that characterizes debates over gun laws. Dissenting justices underscore the potential dangers linked with high-capacity mags, advocating for state autonomy in regulating these firearm accessories. In contrast, the majority underscored the sanctity of Second Amendment rights and the necessity of safeguarding individual liberties. Intriguingly, the Supreme Court's decision also amplifies the impact of law-abiding gun owners. The extension of preliminary injunction protections by Judge Benitez had the effect of preserving the legality of mag possession for those who procured them during Freedom Week. This safeguard against retroactive criminalization aimed to balance individual rights with evolving legal proceedings. The ramifications of Duncan versus Bonta reach beyond California's jurisdiction. The decision has the potential to reshape the contours of gun laws across the nation. It marks a poignant juncture in the broader constitutional debate and sets a course for potential legal battles on gun rights and regulations. As society grapples with the intersection of individual freedoms and collective well-being, Duncan versus Bonta serves as a legal compass, guiding the nation through a constitutional landscape that remains as complex and multifaceted as ever.
It takes extraordinary courage for them to stand up here and retell the story.
Anti-gunners put in there to keep the guns out of the hands of lawful citizens in New York State.
Mag Protection Insights. Amidst the legal intricacies surrounding the Duncan versus Bonta case, an array of developments and legal maneuvers have come to the forefront, shedding light on the complex dynamics at play. At the core of this intricate narrative lie the pre-ban and Freedom Week mags, their protection throughout the legal process, and California's efforts to challenge these safeguards. As the case journeyed through the legal system, the extension of protections for both pre-ban and Freedom Week mags emerged as a focal point. The extension, spearheaded by Judge Robert T. Benitez, aimed to ensure that individuals who had legally acquired mags during Freedom Week would not suddenly face legal consequences due to evolving circumstances. This extension, while protecting the rights of gun owners, encountered resistance from California, which sought to challenge its legitimacy. California's opposition manifested through a motion urging Judge Benitez to reconsider the order extending the protections on Freedom Week mags. Additionally, the state contested the timeline set by Judge Benitez in the original mandate, aiming to secure additional time and extensions. The objective was to present historical and evidentiary support that could bolster their argument in favor of the mag ban. Upon the remand of the case back to Judge Benitez's jurisdiction, he reaffirmed his stance by extending the injunction and setting specific dates. However, California persisted in its opposition to these actions, leading to a legal standoff that shaped the background of the case's progression. In a recent development that unfolded after regular hours, a tactical move reminiscent of Judge Benitez's approach, the court issued docket entries and orders that hold significant implications. These entries revolve around motions filed by Javier Becerra, the Attorney General of California. The first entry declared moot an ex parte motion for reconsideration, which sought to challenge the timeline and extension of the protections on Freedom Week mags. The second entry similarly rendered moot a motion for reconsideration regarding the preliminary injunction. While these entries might appear laden with legal jargon, they signify a critical turning point in the case's trajectory. They suggest that Judge Benitez, in his decisions, may be poised to maintain his position regarding the protection of mag ownership rights. These recent orders, combined with the broader context of the case, indicate a pattern of upholding the rights of gun owners in California, especially those who obtained mags during Freedom Week. Amidst the legal back and forth, Judge Benitez's recent actions carry significant weight. They reflect his inclination to preserve the safeguards he set in motion and potentially signal his alignment with the arguments in favor of gun owners' rights. However, the ultimate outcome remains to be seen as the intricate legal dance continues. Overall, the saga of Duncan versus Bonta remains a nuanced legal tale, with pre-ban and Freedom Week mags serving as emblematic elements within the larger narrative. Judge Benitez's efforts to protect the rights of gun owners have encountered opposition from California, leading to a legal tussle that has unfolded through various motions and orders. The recent docket entries, although intricate, provide a glimpse into the potential trajectory of the case, suggesting a continuation of Judge Benitez's stance on mag ownership protections. As the legal journey progresses, the case not only addresses mag possession, but also encapsulates profound discussions about constitutional rights and the role of the judiciary in shaping them.
You specifically said that.
But I said...
That's the law. What does mandatory mean?
I'm trying to say that...
Does it mean that prosecutors get a choice?
I would expect to see in the coming months and years is a lot of focus on whether or not enough places are deemed sensitive right now.
The Attorney General himself, Ken Paxton, tweeted saying, quote, "What we just witnessed is illegal."
Judge Benitez's orders. Judge Benitez's orders within the context of the Duncan versus Bonta case constitute pivotal milestones that have played a significant role in shaping the trajectory of the legal proceedings and ultimately culminating in the Supreme Court's 6-3 decision. These orders mark key developments that underscore the intricate interplay between constitutional rights, legal interpretations, and the broader implications for gun laws in the U.S. At the heart of Judge Benitez's orders lies the extension of protections for both pre-ban and Freedom Week mags. These protections were established to safeguard individuals who lawfully acquired mags during the Freedom Week period from potential legal repercussions. This extension, while seemingly procedural, carried significant implications as it aimed to ensure that individuals would not suddenly find themselves facing criminal charges due to the evolving legal landscape. California's response to these extensions set the stage for a legal confrontation. The state sought to challenge Judge Benitez's decision to extend these protections, filing motions requesting reconsideration. Additionally, California contested the timelines that had been originally set by Judge Benitez as part of the preliminary injunction, seeking additional time and extensions to present historical evidence and arguments in favor of the mag ban. This conflict between Judge Benitez's stance and California's opposition laid the groundwork for the broader legal narrative. The recent orders issued by Judge Benitez hold profound significance in light of these developments. These orders indicate that the court found moot certain motions and requests submitted by the state of California. While the legal terminology might appear intricate, these orders encapsulate a critical juncture in the case. They suggest that Judge Benitez's perspective in aligning with the extension of protections for mag owners remains steadfast. The decision to render certain motions moot implies that the court stands by its earlier rulings, highlighting a consistent trajectory in terms of protecting gun owners' rights. These orders, coupled with the broader context of the case, set the stage for the Supreme Court's 6-3 decision. While each order may seem isolated, they collectively signal Judge Benitez's intent and approach throughout the legal proceedings. His decisions on matters related to the protection of MAG ownership rights and the interplay of these decisions with California's legal challenges paved the way for the subsequent appeal and ultimate judgment by the Supreme Court.
Is it a difficult question to understand?
Well, I'm sure it's enormously high.
It's 36 per 100,000 people.
I just felt that I needed to be able to protect myself.
Decoding the docket entries. The seemingly innocuous docket entries within the Duncan versus Bonta case hold a wealth of nuanced information that collectively form a significant juncture in the legal journey. While these entries might have escaped the attention of many, a closer examination reveals a strategic interplay of legal maneuvers and hints at the forthcoming trajectory of the case. Judge Roger T. Benitez's handling of the requests by the state of California sheds light on the complex dynamics shaping the litigation and offers insight into what might be on the horizon. At the crux of the matter is California's bid for reconsideration of the preliminary injunction extension order, a move that holds far-reaching implications. As the case returned to Judge Benitez's jurisdiction, California sought to contest the extension and also requested additional time, altered deadlines, and an opportunity to gather historical support to bolster their argument for the validity of the MAG ban. These actions underscore the state's determination to substantiate their stance. Judge Benitez's recent docket entries have the potential to convey a multitude of signals. Firstly, these entries might indicate that certain motions and requests made by California during the earlier stages of the case are now deemed moot or irrelevant due to the evolving nature of the litigation. As timelines shift, new dates are established and fresh requests are introduced. The relevance of prior motions could diminish. Judge Benitez and his team might be in the process of streamlining the docket by removing entries that no longer hold bearing on the current trajectory. However, an alternative interpretation emerges, one that carries substantial weight. These entries could signify that Judge Benitez is clearing the path for the imminent release of his decision. By categorizing California's earlier requests as moot, Judge Benitez might be making a calculated move to streamline the case in preparation for his forthcoming ruling. This intriguing possibility suggests that the judge is positioning the case for its next pivotal phase. These docket entries, although seemingly mundane, encapsulate the intricate dance between legal formalities and strategic signaling. Judge Benitez's handling of these entries serves as a prelude to the larger narrative, the impending verdict. As the legal chessboard continues to evolve, each move made by the judge assumed heightened significance. In essence, the docket entries in the Duncan versus Bonta case represent more than just administrative updates. They encapsulate the intricate strategies, evolving timelines, and impending decisions that define the legal proceedings. By categorizing California's motions as moot, Judge Benitez has either tidied up the docket or strategically prepared the landscape for his forthcoming ruling. The entries underscore the complexities of legal battles, where even seemingly minor administrative actions hold the potential to offer crucial insights into the trajectory of the case.
Who showed up here said one thing that felt good about doing this kind of event was that they felt empowered.
Pretty clear about the extent to which this is an abuse of the Administrative Procedures Act.
Unveiling the legal chessboard. The intricate legal landscape of the Duncan versus Bonta case has been punctuated by seemingly subtle yet impactful docket entries, unraveling a strategic ballet that could potentially lead to a momentous verdict. Amidst these developments, Judge Roger T. Benitez's recent orders offer intriguing insights into the forthcoming trajectory of the case. As these entries navigate requests for time extensions and the application of federal rules, they raise the question, could they be signaling the impending issuance of Judge Benitez's final decision? Central to these orders is California's motion for reconsideration, which pertains to the extension of preliminary injunction protections and additional time to bolster their argument for the MAG ban's validity. At first glance, these motions might seem like routine legal proceedings, but their implications become apparent when viewed in the context of Judge Benitez's recent actions. By invoking Federal Rule 60B, Judge Benitez has effectively mooted certain aspects of the case. This rule pertains to relief from judgments or orders of the court and can be employed to signify that specific issues or connections are no longer relevant or essential to the larger proceedings. This strategic maneuver raises the intriguing possibility that Judge Benitez might be streamlining the case's timeline in preparation for a forthcoming decision. In this context, Judge Benitez's order implies that California need no longer concern itself with prior orders that pertain to the extension of the Ninth Circuit's mandate and the continuation of the preliminary injunction protections. This act can be construed as a form of legal tidying, eliminating procedural obstacles that might hinder the path towards the impending verdict. The question that naturally arises is whether this order hints at the imminent issuance of Judge Benitez's final decision. While it's essential to avoid prematurely jumping to conclusions, this move does carry weight. In a situation where Judge Benitez is preparing to deliver his verdict, streamlining the case's administrative aspects would align with the natural progression towards a decisive judgment. However, it's crucial to exercise caution before drawing definitive conclusions. While the docket entries and Judge Benitez's actions provide tantalizing clues, legal proceedings can be unpredictable. The entry could signify a variety of scenarios, ranging from routine procedural cleanup to strategic preparation for a verdict. For those closely following the case, these developments offer a reason for attentive vigilance. While it might be premature to definitively predict the timing of the final decision, it is a prudent move to remain engaged and aware of potential updates. The Duncan v. Bonta case, with its complex legal maneuvers, has proven to be a focal point for those passionate about Second Amendment rights and broader legal interpretations. As the legal narrative continues to unfold, it's advisable to keep an eye on credible sources that previously provided reliable information, especially during the pivotal Freedom Week. In the grand scheme of legal battles, docket entries might appear as mere administrative footnotes, but in cases like Duncan v. Bonta, they offer invaluable insights. Judge Benitez's recent orders invoking Federal Rule 60B and rendering prior orders moot hint at the intricate legal dance shaping the course of this case. As observers navigate the anticipation of the impending verdict, a balanced approach, grounded in patience and careful observation, is key.
Shall not be infringed, and the word infringe means by banning parts on firearms actually is against the Constitution.
Affect us here, and it was such a breath of fresh air for the Second Amendment people.
Reading the tea leaves. As the Duncan v. Bonta case continues to unfold, recent docket entries have ignited speculation about the potential outcomes of the impending decision by Judge Roger T. Benitez. While these entries offer tantalizing clues, it's important to approach the situation with a measured perspective. The entries might hint at two plausible scenarios, but concrete predictions remain elusive. Firstly, invoking Federal Rule 60B and rendering certain motions moot could indicate a pragmatic move towards streamlining the legal landscape. This could involve removing procedural obstacles and outdated contentions, aligning with a judge's customary actions as a case nears its conclusion. However, a more intriguing possibility emerges when viewed in the broader context of the case. The prospect of Judge Benitez's final decision looms large, and these entries might subtly signal preparations for its imminent release. By clearing the path of superfluous contentions, the judge could be paving the way for a streamlined announcement of his verdict. While this hypothesis is compelling, it's vital to exercise caution before leaping to conclusions. It's crucial to recognize that the outcome remains uncertain. Judge Benitez's past rulings might provide insight, but each case possesses its unique intricacies. Speculation about the content of the decision is premature, and while parallels can be drawn to the landmark Freedom Week, it's important to remember that historical precedent doesn't necessarily dictate future outcomes. For those closely following the case, a balanced approach is advisable. While preparedness is valuable, drawing definitive conclusions from these entries alone would be premature. Keeping a vigilant eye on credible sources and maintaining a prudent perspective is essential as the case progresses.
Blatantly denying the power grab being carried out by the executive branch yet again.
The uptick in violence has just been astronomical. The gun violence.
As a kid, I came out of a different movement, the civil rights movement.
Constitutional debate. The ongoing constitutional debate surrounding gun laws, particularly in cases like Duncan v. Bonta, encapsulates the delicate equilibrium between Second Amendment rights and the imperative of public safety measures. This debate hinges on striking a balance between individuals' right to bear arms and the responsibility of the government to protect the well-being of its citizens. At the heart of this discourse lies the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which enshrines the right of individuals to keep and bear arms. This constitutional provision has ignited enduring discussions on the extent of these rights and the reasonable limitations that can be imposed to ensure public safety. The interpretation of the Second Amendment has evolved over time, and courts are tasked with navigating its application in a modern context. In this complex equation, public safety measures enter the equation as a compelling counterweight. Advocates of stricter gun regulations argue that limitations on mag capacities and other firearm accessories are vital to mitigating the potential for mass slayings and reducing the lethality of firearms. They emphasize that striking a balance between individual rights and collective safety necessitates reasonable restrictions that prevent firearms from being misused for violence. On the other hand, proponents of robust Second Amendment rights contend that any encroachment upon the right to bear arms, no matter how well-intentioned, could set a dangerous precedent that erodes individual liberties. They posit that limiting mag capacities, for instance, could impede law-abiding citizens from effectively defending themselves and their loved ones. Their argument pivots on the belief that responsible gun ownership can coexist with public safety without unnecessarily infringing upon constitutional rights. The constitutional debate surrounding gun laws is complex and often emotionally charged. It raises profound questions about the role of the government in regulating firearms, the extent to which individual rights can be curtailed, and the ways in which society seeks to mitigate the potential dangers posed by firearms. The Supreme Court, as the ultimate arbiter, must consider both historical context and contemporary realities when making determinations.
Lawful gun owners are not the driving force behind criminal gun violence, and this is particularly true of concealed carry permit holders.
AK-47 is an automatic Kalashnikov model of 1947.
At the same time, as I outline in much greater detail in my written submission, they play a significant but underappreciated role.
Implications beyond California. The Supreme Court's decision in Duncan v. Bonta holds implications far beyond California's borders. While the case centers on the state's restrictions on mag capacities, its outcome has the potential to reverberate throughout the nation. If the court upholds Judge Benitez's ruling that mag possession restrictions infringe upon Second Amendment rights, it could set a precedent for other states with similar regulations. Conversely, a decision against Judge Benitez's stance might embolden states to enact or uphold stricter gun control measures. The verdict's ripple effect will likely influence legal debates and policy discussions across various jurisdictions, shaping the contours of gun laws well beyond California. Supreme Court's division. The 6-3 division in the Supreme Court's decision carries significant implications for the broader discourse on gun laws. The split verdict reflects the deep ideological divide within the court and mirrors wider divisions within society. The 3 dissenting justices emphasize the potential harm posed by high-capacity mags and advocate for states' abilities to regulate such accessories to protect public safety. Conversely, the majority asserts the primacy of Second Amendment rights and warns against encroachments on individual liberties. This division highlights the complex nature of interpreting the Constitution and underscores the ongoing debate about the appropriate balance between gun rights and public safety. Mag possession safeguarded. The decision's impact on law-abiding gun owners is a crucial facet of the debate. If the court upholds Judge Benitez's extension of mag possession protections, it would offer relief to individuals who legally acquired mags during Freedom Week and pre-ban periods. This safeguarding of possession rights reflects a concern for the potential retroactive criminalization of otherwise lawful behavior. However, the decision might also ignite discussions about the broader implications of such protections. Critics might argue that safeguarding mag possession could indirectly hinder efforts to mitigate gun violence by limiting regulations on high-capacity mags, which some associate with more lethal firearm incidents.
That brewing is a thing from which the public must be protected. This is simply not true.
So other families will not have the experience and the pain and trauma that they had to live through.
For too long, states like New York told millions of citizens that their right to armed self-defense ended the moment they left their homes.
She proves you can run for office ending gun violence in the South and you can win.
In conclusion, the Supreme Court's decision in Duncan v. Bonta carries implications that stretch far beyond California's borders. Its impact on other states' gun laws, the division among justices, and the effects on law-abiding gun owners collectively contribute to the ongoing constitutional debate surrounding the Second Amendment and public safety. As the legal landscape evolves, the court's decision will likely serve as a touchstone for future discussions on the balance between individual rights and collective well-being in the context of firearm regulations. Criticisms and potential outcome. The constitutional debate over gun laws, epitomized by cases like Duncan versus Bonta, has drawn significant criticisms and speculative contemplations about potential outcomes. This polarizing discourse elicits intense reactions from both proponents and opponents of stricter firearm regulations, reflecting a wider societal struggle to reconcile Second Amendment rights with concerns about public safety. Critics of stricter gun regulations often assert that such measures infringe upon citizens' Second Amendment rights. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.